Yo, yo, man. This morning we're going to be reacting to DJ Vlad TV taking credit for the Tupac case being closed, right? If y'all privy to knowing of who Keefe D is, right? Keefe D is the uncle of Orlando Anderson. Orlando Anderson is the dude that y'all seen in that footage years ago of Suge Knight and Tupac jumping on at that fight back in the day. You get what I'm saying? And Tupac was shortly killed after. Okay. To my knowledge, Keefe D took a proffer agreement later on down the line when he got trapped up in some more other stuff. And I'm thinking it was a drug charge. So, okay, you get me with drugs. I'm looking at 30, 40, 50 years or something, right? So, okay, let me make an agreement with you all. Like, yo, I know who killed Tupac. Yo, I was actually in the vehicle with the person that killed Tupac. It was my nephew that killed Tupac. Why? Because they humiliated my nephew, which is a gangster crip. You get what I'm saying? They stomped him out. They jumped on him and stuff. Tupac and Suge, along with death row entourages and so forth. That's something that the world always wanted to know more about, the Tupac's death and stuff, right? If you place yourself somewhere where it's putting bad light on you, then people will look at you as you telling the truth. Okay, why is this individual putting himself in the car with the individual that killed Tupac if he wasn't in the car? Because by him saying he in the car is making him guilty. You get what I'm saying? So that's what Keefe D did years ago when we speak on the proffer agreement. Now, was the proffer agreement clemency for like, yo, this drug case that y'all got me under, like this conspiracy, whatever y'all got me with, or is it clemency towards the Tupac case? So it's like, that's why it's a lot of confusion nowadays. Like, yo, why did he sit down with those detectives and stuff years ago and made an agreement? Like, yo, I'm gonna tell you all who killed Tupac. I'm gonna send my involvement with it. I was just in the car, me and two more other people, along with my nephew, and none of the individuals is no longer here. So they can't dare dispute what I'm saying is going on in Keefe D here. Keefe D could have been the shooter, but we look at Orlando Anderson as the shooter. Why wouldn't he be the shooter if he was a known gangster and stuff? You get what I'm saying? A known gangster, and Tupac and Suge Knight just stump you out in front of thousands of people. You get what I'm saying? But Keefe D made a proffer agreement then, back in the day. A little after that, he got caught up with some drugs or whatever. So I said that to say this. That's why it's a lot of confusion. They looking at it like, all right, if you made a proffer agreement back in the day, then why is they arresting you for Tupac's murder? Now I understand it. The proffer agreement back in the day probably was like, yo, we didn't caught you in this drug conspiracy, whatever you got going on in Compton or whatever. You looking at 30 years minimum, mandatory, 40 years or whatever. You get what I'm saying? Better do some talking on something. Or he suggested that information willingly on his own, knowing what he was facing. Like, yo, I'm facing this. Let me, you know what I'm saying, concoct a story up. It'll look believable because I'm placing myself there. And you get what I'm saying? Like, the agreement could have been like, yo, if I tell y'all who killed Tupac, right, and I can't just be saying any Willie O'Neilly person, I got to say my nephew because my nephew had a reason to kill Tupac if it's footage of Tupac and Suge jumping on my nephew. You get what I'm saying? So, what I'm telling you all, the reason why I know because I'm in the car. I was in the vehicle. So, if I tell y'all about the Tupac murder and stuff like that, will y'all give me clemency on this drug case that I'm facing? I ain't trying to be doing no 30, 40 years mandatory minimum. You get what I'm saying? So That could have been the proper agreement. That's why it's a confusion. Why did he get arrested? You get what I'm saying? 27 years down the line, if he already did talked with authorities and stuff and told them stuff, right? So the proper agreement was probably just for that drug thing. It wasn't never to exonerate him from Tupac's murder later on down the line. If it ever comes out, it wasn't to exonerate him in no type of way. You get what I'm saying? And then at the end of the day, I heard somebody say the other day, and which it was a smart opinion. They was on some stuff like, yo, Keefe D even wrote a book and said all of this in here. So Vlad is trying to take the credit of just by him being the one that been the first interviewer that interviewed Keefe D. He trying to take that credit of saying that's the reason why he closed Tupac's murder case and stuff. And throughout the years, you had Greg Cadence, you had different outlaw members, friends of Tupac's, that they came and spoke and told their side of that night of Tupac's death, to the point where, like, yo, Vlad feel like out of all of those people that been coming on his show, along with Keefe D, he feels like now he didn't close the case of Tupac's murder. But at the end of the day, Keefe D opened his mouth in that proper agreement years ago was the reason why his downfall is today. It ain't no DJ Vlad just because you interviewing him, asking him stuff that he already wrote in a book. Asking him stuff that he already wrote in the book. You get what I'm saying? But somebody said this and it was smart. They said that authorities locked Keefe D up on the strength of, like, they've been hearing all of these years, and not even them, just the world and family and friends of the family and fans been always hearing, like, yo, Keefe D, Orlando Anderson, Keefe D, Orlando Anderson. Is Tupac murder, like, has something to do with Tupac's death, right? Yes, go ahead and charge Keefe D with it, just to seal the case shut, because you can't charge Orlando Anderson and the two other individuals, because guess what? They're no longer here to have to come on the stand to refute and, you get what I'm saying, rebuttal and stuff. Only person alive is Suge Knight and Keefe D. Now they keep saying Suge Knight saying he ain't got there going to cooperate and testify. I mean, tell his side of anything. But yo, if y'all know it, Suge Knight has been playing blind and walking with canes and stuff ever since he's been locked down, right? He's been trying to get out of that 28-year sentence, right? So who's to say if they come to goddamn Suge and be like, yo, go ahead and tell what happened that night, man. And this 28-year sentence that you doing, we'll knock time off it and you'll be home in 5 years. Keep thinking Suge Knight gonna goddamn put his foot down and hold his grunt, stand on his own 10 toes and shit. 10 toes and stuff. We done seen people fall for less. I'm telling y'all, that man been planning to get out of prison all these years. I'm talking about Suge Knight is playing blind and walking with a cane and acting vulnerable in there. You get what I'm saying? So why is he trying to act tough, acting like he ain't gonna testify in this darn when they go to court and stuff like that? So I keep getting off track, but I heard this person saying, yo, the reason why they got Keefe D is because his name has been the only name along with his nephew name throughout all these years, 27 years and stuff, right? So yes, go on and charge him. By the time it goes to court, it'll be thrown out because Orlando Anderson is dead and gone on some old street stuff that didn't have nothing to do with Tupac. And the other two individuals that was allegedly in the car with Keefe D and Orlando Anderson is no longer here no more. So Keefe D is going to get off on this. Like, honestly, that's what the person was saying. And you think about it, yeah, it is true. If you think about it, he's going to get off because it's been 27 years past and y'all just now trying to come at this man with the murder. And this man that wrote in his book about everything about being in that car that night. He done did interviews. So that's why Vlad taking credit for it. Y'all listen.
Your channel more or less solved the Tupac murder. Were you the first YouTuber to get Keefe D? I think you were, right? case 27 years later, and we'll obviously get into the recent events that have happened with that case. But what was your approach talking to Keefe D? Because you were the first to get him. Like, was he nervous? Was he apprehensive? What was it like on that first interview? Because I know you've done a couple with him.
I mean, yeah, I think he was cautious, which is understandable. I mean, as was I. I think I had 2 securities, that day, both armed. I think I parked my car down the street and stuff like that. I mean, listen, I don't know who Keefe is. We had a couple phone conversations, but I don't know this guy's actual mind frame at the time. But I do know his history, and he has a violent past.
Yeah.
So I wasn't taking any chances. But at the end of the day, he wrote a book. So my interview had an outline and a blueprint of the book that he wrote. So if you watch the interview, whenever you want to answer a question, I'm like, well, but the book said that you said X, Y, and Z. So if you don't want to talk about it, you should have written about it. Is the way I look at it. So yeah, I mean, it was
No, on some real. I was on some other stuff with Vlad, but when he said that, that's some real stuff. If you wrote about this stuff in your book, then when people, journalists and vloggers and stuff, get a chance to interview you and ask you stuff about Tupac, did Orlando Anderson really kill him and your nephew? And then this is what I've been thinking the whole time. Orlando Anderson's mom, right, is Keefe D's sister. How do she feel all these years, yo? How do she feel about her brother telling authorities in the world that her son killed Tupac? I always wondered that. How did Orlando mama feel about her brother telling on his nephew? You get what I'm saying?
It was an interesting interview. I felt that it got rid of all the conspiracy theories around it, because if you notice, not only did I do the interview, but it was cross-referencing a lot of.
And what Vlad basically saying is like, yo, he's still taking credit for Tupac's case being closed, right? And it's been closed anyway in the world's eyes. If you ask me, it's still a mistake because where he at. Like if he had a closed casket, like I forgot if it was him or Biggie Smalls. I'm thinking it was Tupac though that had a closed casket. So if you got a closed casket, who knows if you was in that casket or it was just an empty casket or what? And you living abroad somewhere. Well, you get what I'm saying? But I don't know. But at the end of the day, Keefe D wrote a book talking about the whole thing. So Vlad still making the world look like he closed Tupac's murder case, right? And the simple reason why is because he interviewed Greg Kading, he interviewed the first responders and so forth. The first responders were the first people on the scene to try to revive Tupac and get questions from Tupac. DJ Vlad interviewed those people. So they on live telling their whole story about that night and all of that. So throughout the years and stuff, then he interviewed Keefe D. He did interview entourages of Suge Knight and entourages of Tupac. So that's why he feel like he didn't close the case. But at the end of the day, when Keefe D did that proffer agreement, it wasn't even 27 years ago. Well, I don't know how many years ago it was, but Tupac been gone 27 years. Keefe D did an agreement a year or two after that.
Outlaws, Napoleon, to the first responder, to Greg Kading.
That's why I was just saying, you all, DJ Vlad interviewed all the people that had ties with that Tupac death, and you get what I'm saying? So why would you? That's why he would be saying like, yo, I helped close the case. Because authorities look at people's lives and all of this and try to soak up information, and then boom, we got you. We using that in court.
All these other people. So it's like some of the things didn't fully line up, but most of the important stuff did. So that's why I say I kind of solved it, because like here is like, if you watch this from beginning to end, you'd be hard pressed to say that the government killed Tupac or that Suge Knight had him assassinated while sitting in the car and getting gripped.
So basically, he said like, y'all always hear of those conspiracy theories as far as Tupac's death, right? Like a Muslim killed him, or somebody with a bow tie, or the government did it, or Suge set him up because he heard that Pac was ready to go be on his own, and that would have been a downfall to Death Row and stuff. So let me get a hitman right, shoot and kill Tupac, but shoot me in the head, but make the bullet graze me. That's always been a conspiracy, right? There's always been a conspiracy theory, right? Who the world that got there accurate to the point where you tell them where you want to be shot at? You taking a goddamn chance. So there's always been a conspiracy theory with that Suge junk. You get what I'm saying? And they said Suge still got the bullet lodged in his head to this day.
Tupac's still alive. He's out in Cuba somewhere. It was a very clear chain of events that, these chain of events are happening in neighborhoods across the world right now as we speak. Someone got beat up earlier this afternoon. Maybe got something stolen from them. And someone else is going to come back and get revenge over that.
Yeah, so basically he's speaking on the cause of Tupac death. Tupac spotted Orlando Anderson or whatever the case may be. They him and Suge whooped on him, and that's how Suge got that time and stuff, because Suge had violated probation and stuff. I ain't talking about the time Suge doing now, but I'm talking about back then and stuff. So when Suge took that missing and Reggie Wright started running Death Row and stuff, that was the reason, because Suge was on camera seen kicking Orlando Anderson while he down and stuff, while the other entourage is doing what they doing to him. Shortly after, Tupac was gone.
So that person is likely to have a gun. The person, caused it is going to end up dead by the end of the day. That's happening right now somewhere in the world. So it shouldn't be so shocking that this happened just because it happened to be Tupac. It's some shit that happens in certain types of communities. We're really just not even certain type of communities. Really, it was just people in general. People get mad, people have their feelings hurt, and then people want to retaliate. I'm sure we've all had fights that we lost at one point, and I'm sure there's always a thought of, let me go get a gun and shoot this person. Some people actually do it, especially if they have a history of doing it. And Orlando had a history of doing it. He was under investigation for multiple murders at the time. So it's like the puzzle pieces are all fitting together. So it is what it is.
Yeah. What do you think about these conspiracy people that say, cops killed Tupac, or Reggie set up Tupac to be killed so he could take over the label, and just crackpot things?
Where's the proof behind it? I mean, I've presented my roadmap to it, right? Now, in terms of who the shooter is in the car, I'm not totally sure about that. I understand that Orlando is being blamed as the shooter, but
could be Dre.
Could be Dre. Could be the other guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. The only person.
Exactly. That's what the word I've been saying the whole time. Keefy D could have did the job, but put it on his nephew because his nephew is no longer here. You get what I'm saying? Like, honestly. The other dudes that was in the car is no longer here neither. So DJ Vlad trying to take credit for Tupac case being closed and stuff. Tupac case ain't gonna never be closed if you don't know the body yet. You get what I'm saying? We ain't, that was a closed casket if I'm not mistaken. You get what I'm saying? Only Tupac mama know, because the family and you get what I'm saying, the immediate family be the ones that make that decision of like the casket being closed. But was Tupac shot up in his face and the head and all of that? It's the reason why he had a closed casket, or they didn't want the last moments to be of them remembering seeing him closed up in a casket, seeing his face and all that in the casket. So they suggested a closed casket ceremony. I don't know, but at the end of the day, Vlad taking credit for closing the case. And my reaction, I already said my reaction throughout the whole thing, but I feel like Keefe D closed that junk on his own when he first opened his mouth years ago. We would have never knew where to look because you got this thing, this no snitch thing, and you got this street code. So the outlaws, Suge, all these people probably been knew or had some type of thoughts of who killed Tupac, but by the street codes or whatever, you just can't go out here and say nothing. You get what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. It's been real, man.